Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the secrets hiding in your pocket change. Rarest coins. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about coins in recent years, the 1965 Washington quarter. Some say it's worth just 25 cents. Others claim it could fetch as much as $1.9 million. So what's the truth? Is it just pocket change or a $1 million treasure? Let's find out. First, let's go back in time to 1965. This was a pivotal year in United States coinage history. Up until 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver. But by 1965, rising silver prices made it too expensive for the government to continue minting silver coins for everyday use. That's when the U.S. Mint made the historic decision to switch to a new composition, a clad blend of copper and nickel. The 1965 Washington quarter became the very first U.S. quarter made without any silver. Instead, it featured a copper core with layers of cupronickel on the outside. It weighed slightly less than the silver version and had a duller, more grayish color. The design, however, stayed the same. The familiar portrait of George Washington on the front and the heraldic eagle on the reverse. Now, here's something important to remember. In 1965, the U.S. Mint was under pressure. Silver coins were being hoarded by the public, and coin shortages were a real problem. To fix this, the Mint produced an enormous number of 1,965 quarters, over 1.8 billion of them, to be exact. That makes the 1965 Washington quarter one of the most common coins ever produced in U.S. history. But here's where things get interesting. Because the transition from silver to clad coinage happened quickly, and because the Mint was still figuring out the new materials and processes, some unusual coins slipped through the cracks. And that's where the mystery and the million-dollar rumors begin. Let's tackle the big claim head-on. Is there a 1965 Washington quarter worth $1.90 million? The short answer is, not officially. There is no public record from any reputable auction house, grading service, or collector organization confirming a 1965 quarter has sold for anything close to that amount. But like many stories on the internet, there is a little bit of truth buried beneath the hype. Here's the real story. There are a handful of rare 1965 Washington quarters that were accidentally struck on 90% silver planchets, the same type of silver discs used in 1964. These silver planchet errors happened during the transitional period between silver and clad coinage. A few leftover silver blanks from the previous year were mistakenly used to strike 1965 quarters. These silver error quarters are extremely rare, and that's what gives them real value. If you have one of these silver 1965 quarters, it could be worth thousands of dollars. In fact, examples authenticated and graded by PCGS or NGC have sold for as much as $7,000 to $9,000, depending on the condition. Some claim private sales have pushed prices over $10,000 in pristine condition. These are real numbers based on real sales. How do you know if you have one of these rare silver errors? Here are a few things to look for. First, check the weight. A standard clad 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver quarter from 1964 or a silver error from 1965 weighs around 6.25 grams. That's a noticeable difference if you have a precision scale. Next, look at the edge of the coin. A regular 1965 clad quarter will have a visible copper stripe along the edge, but a silver quarter will have a solid silver-colored edge with no copper showing. And finally, consider the sound. Silver coins have a higher pitched ring when dropped on a hard surface compared to the duller sound of clad coins. It's not a guaranteed method, but many collectors use the sound test as an early indicator. Now let's talk about value in general. A typical 1965 Washington quarter in circulated condition is very common and worth just face value, 25 cents. In uncirculated condition, meaning it was never used and still has its original mint luster, it might be worth $1 to $5. Higher grade uncirculated coins, those graded MS-65 and above, can sell for $10 to $50, sometimes more if they're in exceptional condition. There are also double die varieties from 1965 that are extremely rare, and if you happen to find one with clear doubling on the date or lettering, that could be worth hundreds or possibly thousands of dollars. But they are extremely difficult to come by and must be authenticated by a grading service to hold significant value. But what about the $1 million coin? As of now, there is no verified authenticated sale of any 1965 Washington quarter reaching $1.9 million. The million-dollar figure appears to be an exaggerated claim, likely created for clicks, headlines, and social media buzz. It's a great way to grab attention, but it's not backed up by evidence in the numismatic world. That said, rare coins have sold for over $1 million in the past, but those are typically one-of-a-kind coins from the 1700s or early 1800s, not modern coins like the 1965 quarter to So what should you do if you find a 1965 quarter? Start by checking the edge and weight. If there's no copper stripe and the coin weighs more than 6 grams, it's worth taking a closer look. You might want to send it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. If it turns out to be a genuine silver planchet error, you could be holding a coin worth thousands. But be cautious. Not every unusual coin is rare, and not every rumor online is true. Many people have been misled into thinking that every old coin is valuable just because of its age. The truth is, condition, rarity, and error status are what really determine value in the coin collecting world. The 1965 Washington quarter is a fascinating coin. It marks a turning point in U.S. history, the end of circulating silver coinage and the beginning of a new era in American money. While most of these coins are common, a select few are valuable due to rare minting errors, and those are the ones worth looking out for. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1965 Washington quarter, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next coin spotlight. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across an interesting 1965 quarter, or if you'd like us to cover a specific coin in a future video. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and remember, every coin has a story. Some are just waiting to be discovered. Would you like a shorter version for YouTube Shorts or TikTok, or visuals to match this narration? I can help tailor this for any format. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden stories behind everyday coins. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1987 Washington quarter. It might look like any other quarter, but some people are saying it could be worth up to $1.4 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, let's take a closer look and separate the myths from the facts. Let's start with the basics. The 1987 Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and you'll find the small letter P just to the right of George Washington's neck on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. That P stands for Philadelphia, one of the major coin-producing mints in the United States. In 1987, the U.S. Mint struck over 582 million of these quarters at the Philadelphia Mint alone. Combine that with nearly 600 million more from the Denver Mint, and you've got over 1.1 billion Washington quarters in circulation that year. So by the numbers alone, this is a very common coin. It's not rare in the traditional sense. Most people, even today, have handled one without realizing it. Now let's take a quick step back in time. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, when it was introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design by John Flanagan featured a bust of Washington on the front and an eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. That design would remain virtually unchanged for decades, including through 1987. So where does the idea come from that a 1987 quarter could be worth a fortune? Specifically, where does this $1.4 million figure come from? Like many viral claims on the internet, the story of the million-dollar quarter tends to pop up in YouTube videos, TikTok shorts, and flashy online articles with headlines like, "Check your change now," or "This coin could make you a millionaire." Unfortunately, in most of these cases, the information is exaggerated, misleading, or simply false. To date, there is absolutely no verified record of any 1987 Washington quarter selling for $1.4 million. In fact, no known sale has even come close to that amount. Professional coin grading companies such as PCGS and NGC keep detailed records of coin auctions, and the highest known sales for a 1987 quarter are in the low thousands, not millions. For example, if a 1987 quarter is found in exceptional condition, meaning flawless surfaces, full luster, and no signs of wear, and is graded by a professional service as MS67 or MS68, then yes, it might sell for a few hundred to a few $1,000s. These high-grade coins are extremely rare and sought after by serious collectors looking to complete perfect sets. But make no mistake, these are the absolute best of the best. We're talking about coins that have been carefully preserved for decades, stored in airtight holders, and never touched human hands after leaving the mint. And even then, we're talking hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars, not 1.4 million now. Could there be a rare error coin from 1987 worth significantly more? It's possible. Error coins can include things like double strikes, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. Those kinds of minting mistakes are highly collectible and can command high prices depending on how dramatic and unique the error is. But again, even with major errors, values usually reach a few $1,000s, not millions if you have a 1987 P quarter and you think it might be special. Maybe it has a strange coloration, a minting defect, or it looks like no other coin you've seen. Then you should absolutely have it examined by a professional. Reputable grading services can tell you if it's a rare error or simply a worn-out circulation coin. Now let's talk about typical values for this coin. If you've got a 1987 P quarter that's been in circulation, meaning it shows wear, scratches, or discoloration, it's worth face value. Just 25 cents. If it's in uncirculated condition, maybe pulled from a mint set or kept in a collection since day one, it could be worth anywhere from $1 to $5. The really high-grade examples, those certified by PCGS or NGC as MS67 or higher, could reach values between a few hundred and around $2,000, depending on the market. But let's be clear though, these are the exception, not the rule. Millions of people have 1987 P quarters in their drawers, pockets, and couch cushions, and most of those are only worth a quarter. But that doesn't mean the coin isn't worth learning about or collecting. The 1987 P is a great example of a coin from the final years before the state quarters program began in 1999. It represents the tail end of an era, the last decade of the traditional Washington quarter design that had remained virtually unchanged since the 1930s. What's the verdict on the 1987 P Washington quarter being worth $1.40 million? It's a myth. There is no known sale, no documented proof. No collector or auction house has ever placed that kind of value on a 1987 P quarter. If someone is telling you otherwise, they're either misinformed or trying to get clicks. The most valuable examples of this coin top out in the low thousands, and only if they're in pristine, certified condition. Still, it's always worth checking your coins. You never know when you might find a rare error, a high-grade specimen, or something unique that a collector would love to have. Just don't get caught up in the hype and false promises that every coin could be a lottery ticket. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the story behind the 1987 P quarter. If you found this video helpful, informative, or even a little surprising, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the coins you see every day. Drop a comment below if you've got a 1987 quarter in your collection and tell us where you found it. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and always keep an eye on your change. Because history might be hiding in your pocket. Would you like a version broken into segments for easier filming or added voiceover cues? I can help tailor this script for different content styles too. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the surprising stories, hidden treasures, and unexpected values of everyday coins. In today's video, we're going to explore the 1986 P Washington quarter. Some online sources and social media posts are claiming this coin could be worth an unbelievable $1.6 million. That's right, a single quarter, worth more than most homes. But is it true? Can a coin minted in 1986, still found in circulation today, really be worth that much? Let's break it all down. The history, the facts, the real value, and what to look for if you think you have a special one. Let's start with the basics. The 1986 P Washington quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. You can identify this by the small letter P located on the obverse side of the coin, to the right of George Washington's ponytail. That P stands for Philadelphia, and in 1986, that mint produced over 551 million of these quarters. That's more than $500 million. So the first important point is this. The 1986 P quarter is not rare by mintage numbers. The design on the coin is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, originally introduced in 1932. The obverse features the bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, and the reverse shows the eagle with spread wings perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches underneath. A classic American design. The coin is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, not silver, and that's typical for quarters minted after 1965. So unlike the earlier silver quarters, the 1986 P quarter doesn't carry any intrinsic metal value. So where does the $1.6 million claim come from? This is where the rumors and myths begin to blur the line between fact and fiction. Over the last few years, various websites, social media accounts, and YouTube channels have shared viral videos and articles with headlines like, "Check your change. This 1986 quarter could be worth $1.6 million." But here's the reality. There is no official, documented sale of any 1986 P quarter reaching that kind of value. Not in any public auction. Not through any coin grading service. Not in any verified collector database. So why are people making this claim? Most of the time, these exaggerated price tags are linked to rare mint errors or high-grade specimens, and they're often misunderstood or misrepresented. A tiny handful of coins from any year can carry a significant premium if they are in exceptional condition or have dramatic, verified minting errors. But even in those rare cases, the value doesn't usually come anywhere close to $1 million, and certainly not 1.6 million. But let's talk about real value. In circulated condition, meaning the coin has been used in everyday transactions and shows signs of wear. The 1986 P Washington quarter is still worth 25 cents. That's its face value. These coins are very common and are still found in pocket change, cash registers, and coin rolls. Now, if the coin is in uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used and still has its original mint luster, it might be worth more. Uncirculated examples of the 1986 P quarter generally sell for $1 to $5, depending on their condition and eye appeal. Things start to get more interesting when you enter the world of professional coin grading. That if your 1986 P quarter is submitted to a grading service like PCGS or NGC and receives a high mint state grade, like MS66, MS67, or MS68, the value can increase significantly. A coin graded MS67 could sell for $50 to $100, and MS68 examples, which are extremely rare, have been known to sell for several $100s, and in some cases, over $1,000. But again, even in the best condition ever recorded, there is no known sale of a 1986 P quarter reaching anywhere close to $1.6 million. Let's also talk about errors and varieties, because this is where some of the big values come from in other coins. There are a few known mint errors that can occur on any U.S. coin. Things like double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. These types of errors are rare and valuable, but they must be certified and verified by professionals to hold any real value. For the 1986 P quarter specifically, no major error varieties have been confirmed that would justify a seven-figure price tag. That doesn't mean you shouldn't look. Rare errors sometimes go unnoticed for years, but it does mean you should be cautious and realistic about what you find. So what should you do if you find a shiny 1986 P quarter? Start by checking the condition. If it looks brand new, you might have an uncirculated piece worth a few bucks. If it appears flawless, with no scratches, nicks, or blemishes, and has full mint luster, it might be worth getting graded. Next, examine the coin closely for any signs of a minting error, doubling on the date or letters, an off-center strike, unusual coloring, or anything that doesn't look typical. If you think you've found something unique, consider showing it to a local coin dealer or sending it to a grading service for expert evaluation. But always keep in mind that not every coin is a jackpot, and not every viral headline tells the whole story. The idea that a 1986 P quarter could be worth $1.6 million is simply not supported by any real data. It's a rumor, a myth, a headline built for clicks. But that doesn't mean the coin isn't interesting or that it can't be valuable in the right condition. The 1986 P Washington quarter is part of the final years before the state quarters program began in 1999, which radically changed how collectors viewed modern quarters. Coins from this pre-statehood era are starting to gain more attention from collectors who want to build complete sets or find high-grade examples. So, while your 1986 P quarter might not make you a millionaire, it could still hold value. And more importantly, it's a piece of everyday American history. A coin that's traveled through time, touched thousands of hands, and still finds its way into your pocket decades later. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more coin stories, values, and collecting tips. Drop a comment below if you found a 1986 P quarter in your change, or if you have questions about other coins you want us to cover in a future video. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and always check your change, because you never know what hidden history might be right in your hands. Let me know if you'd like a short version for YouTube Shorts, or if you want help adding voiceover timing or visuals to match this script. Welcome to the channel where we dig deep into the stories behind the coins in your pocket. And today we're looking at a coin that has stirred up a lot of buzz across the internet, the 1998 D Washington quarter. You may have heard rumors, whispers, or even bold headlines saying this coin is worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. But is there any truth to that? Is this just hype, or is your everyday pocket change hiding a hidden treasure? Let's find out. First, let's talk about the coin itself. The 1998 D Washington quarter was minted in Denver, as shown by the small D mint mark on the front of the coin, just to the right of George Washington's ponytail. Over 821 million of these quarters were struck that year, making it a very common coin at first glance. If you've been collecting coins or even just spending them, there's a good chance one of these has passed through your hands. Now, 1998 was the final year that the classic eagle reverse design appeared on the Washington quarter. Starting in 1999, the United States Mint launched the wildly popular 50-state quarters program, replacing the heraldic eagle with custom designs for each state. That means the 1998 D quarter marks the end of an era, the last regular issue quarter to feature that traditional reverse design, which had been in use since 1932. And because of that, 1998 quarters, especially from the Denver Mint, carry a certain nostalgia and historical significance. Collectors often like to complete sets that include both the old design and the new state quarter designs, and 1998 serves as a key transition point in modern U.S. coinage history. But now let's get to the big question. Is this coin really worth $1.3 million? The short answer is no. That number is mostly the result of viral internet articles and videos exaggerating or misrepresenting rare coin values. There is no official record, auction, or certified private sale where a 1998 D quarter has sold for anything close to that figure. That said, not all 1998 D quarters are equal. While the vast majority are worth face value, just 25 cents, there are some exceptions. If a 1998 D quarter is in uncirculated condition, that means it's never been used in everyday transactions and still has its original mint luster. It could be worth a few dollars to a collector. In general, uncirculated examples can sell for anywhere between $2 to $10, depending on the coin's condition and eye appeal. Now, let's take it a step further. If your coin has been graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC and receives a high mint state grade, like MS67 or even MS68, then you're talking about a much rarer find. Only a small number of coins ever reach that level of perfection. In one known example, a 1998 D Washington quarter graded MS67 Plus sold at auction for over $1,500. That is a real, documented sale, not a myth, not an exaggeration, but still, nowhere near $1.3 million. So where did that number come from? The truth is, many websites and social media posts are looking for attention. They take rare instances of error coins or exceptional condition coins and inflate the value dramatically, sometimes without any supporting evidence. For example, they might show a photo of a regular 1998 D quarter and claim it's worth millions, even though no such sale has ever occurred. It's important to separate fact from fiction. That being said, some quarters from the late 90s can be valuable, but usually only under special circumstances. This includes mint errors, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. If you have a 1998 D quarter with an obvious minting error, you might want to have it looked at by a coin expert or grading service. Those types of errors can sometimes be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity and appeal to collectors. So to recap, the regular 1998 D Washington quarter is a common coin. In circulated condition, It's worth its face value, 25 cents. In uncirculated condition, maybe a few bucks. In top-tier condition, certified and graded as MS-67 or better, it could sell for over $1,000. But the idea of this coin being worth $1.3 million is simply false. There is no record of any such sale, and there is no known 1998 D quarter with features or history that would justify such a high price tag. Still, don't throw yours away just yet. If you find one in pristine condition or notice a strange mint error, it could be worth sending it in for grading. You never know. Coin collecting is about more than just money. It's about history, design, and the thrill of discovery. And who knows? The next coin you pull from your pocket might not be worth $1 million, but it could still be something special. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the 1998 D quarter, hit the like button, subscribe for more coin stories, and drop a comment below if you've ever found one of these quarters in your change. Until next time, happy collecting and keep your eyes open, because history is still in your hands. Let me know if you want this formatted into segments with scene ideas, or if you want a version tailored for TikTok or Instagram Reels. Welcome back to the channel where we dig into the hidden value of everyday coins and uncover the stories you never knew were right in your pocket. Today we're exploring the 1990 D Washington quarter. You might have heard rumors that this coin is worth a staggering $1.1 million. That's right, a single quarter supposedly worth over $1 million. But is it true? Could that coin you've had sitting in your change jar be worth life-changing money? Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the basics. The 1990 D Washington quarter was minted in Denver, which you can tell by the small letter D on the front of the coin, just to the right of George Washington's ponytail. The D stands for Denver, one of the United States Mint's key production facilities. In that year, the Denver Mint struck over 927 million Washington quarters. That's right, nearly 1 billion coins. So right off the bat, we know that the 1990 D quarter is not rare in terms of how many were made. This coin features the classic design that had been used for decades. The obverse shows a left-facing portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, and the reverse features the iconic eagle with spread wings perched on a bundle of arrows. This design had been used since 1932 and was still in circulation until 1998, just before the 50-state quarters program began. Now let's dive into what everyone wants to know. What is the 1990 D Washington quarter really worth? In circulated condition, meaning the coin has been used in everyday transactions, it's generally worth its face value, 25 cents. You'll find these in pocket change, vending machines, and coin jars across the country. But in uncirculated condition, the story starts to shift. Coins that have been preserved in mint state, untouched since they left the mint, can carry a premium. If you find a 1990 D quarter in mint state condition, with no scratches, no discoloration, full original luster, it could be worth anywhere from a few dollars to around $20, depending on the grade. Now, here's where things get more interesting. For coin collectors, high-grade coins are everything. If your 1990 D quarter has been professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC and earns a top grade like MS-67 or even MS-68, then its value can increase dramatically. In fact, the most pristine, certified examples of the 1990 D quarter have sold for several $100s, and in very rare cases, over $1,000. But here's the million-dollar question. Has any 1990 D Washington quarter ever sold for $1.1 million? The short answer is no. That number is based on exaggerated headlines and viral internet posts that often mislead viewers by combining facts with fantasy. There is no official record from any major auction house, coin dealer, or grading service showing that a 1990 D quarter has ever sold for that kind of money to S. Oh, where do these numbers come from? In many cases, it starts with a rare error coin. Some coins leave the mint with unique flaws. Maybe they were struck on the wrong type of metal, or they were double struck, or maybe they were missing key features. These so-called error coins can sometimes be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially when they're dramatic and well-documented. But the chances of a random 1990 D quarter being one of these rare error coins is extremely low. And even then, no known error quarter from 1990 has ever reached $1 million price tag. It's also important to note that online content creators and websites often exaggerate coin values to get clicks and attention. They'll post images of regular coins next to shocking price tags, with no evidence to back it up. That's why it's so important to do your research and rely on information from trusted sources in the numismatic community. Let's recap. The 1990 D Washington quarter is a common coin. Over 927 million were minted, and most are still only worth 25 cents. If you find one in excellent uncirculated condition, it might be worth a few bucks to a collector. If it's in absolutely perfect condition, graded MS67 or higher, it could be worth a few hundred, maybe more. But the idea that a 1990 D quarter is worth $1.1 million? That is a myth. There's no evidence supporting that claim. However, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be checking your change. Rare coins do show up in everyday places. Errors, high-grade specimens, and special varieties are out there. And part of the fun of coin collecting is never knowing what you might find. It might not make you a millionaire, but it could be a valuable addition to your collection. The 1990 D quarter also represents an important part of U.S. coin history. It's one of the last years before a major design shift. Just a few years later, in 1999, the U.S. Mint would launch the 50-state quarters program, which completely transformed how people viewed the quarter and sparked a renewed interest in coin collecting across the country. So in a way, the 1990 D quarter is a symbol of the final years of the classic Washington quarter design. What should you do if you have a 1990 D quarter? First, check the condition. If it's heavily worn, it's likely only worth face value. If it looks shiny and new, it may be uncirculated. If you think it's in excellent condition or you notice anything strange about it, like missing details, unusual colors, or off-center strikes, it might be worth having it evaluated by a coin shop or professional grading service. Just don't fall for the hype. Not every coin is a hidden treasure, and not every quarter is worth $1 million. But every coin does have a story, and some are worth more than you think. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, informative, or even surprising, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. We dive deep into coins, their history, their value, and the fascinating world of numismatics. Drop a comment below if you found a 1990 D quarter in your change, and let us know what other coins you want us to cover next. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep learning, and never underestimate what might be hiding in your pocket. Let me know if you'd like help turning this into segments for shorts or a voiceover-ready version. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden stories and surprising values behind the coins you use every day. Today, we're talking about the 1994 D Washington quarter, a coin that sparked a lot of interest, especially after claims started circulating online that it could be worth up to $1.5 million. That's right, $1.5 million for a single quarter. Now, before you start digging through your coin jar, let's slow things down and take a deep dive into this coin's history, what makes it special, and whether that massive price tag is fact or just another internet rumor. Let's begin with the basics. The 1994 D Washington quarter was minted in Denver, which you can tell by the small letter D found on the obverse side of the coin, right next to George Washington's ponytail. That D simply means it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the major coin production facilities in the United States. In 1994, over 880 million Washington quarters were minted in Denver alone. That's an enormous number. When you add in the Philadelphia mintage as well, the total number of 1,994 quarters in circulation exceeds 1.7 billion. If we're being honest, the 1994 D quarter is not rare in terms of how many were made. In fact, it's extremely common. You've probably had several in your pocket without even realizing it. But just because a coin is common doesn't mean it's worthless. And in the world of numismatics, that's the study and collection of coins. Condition and rarity go hand in hand. The design of this coin should be familiar to anyone who's ever handled U.S. currency. The obverse features the iconic profile of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932. The reverse, for coins minted from 1932 to 1998, shows a majestic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches below. That design remained unchanged for decades until the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. The 1994 D is part of the final years of the classic Washington quarter design, a design that many collectors still love today. But here's the question, what is it really worth? Let's start with the everyday examples. If you have a 1994 D quarter that's been circulating, meaning it's been used in everyday transactions and shows signs of wear, it's worth exactly 25 cents. That's the face value. And for the majority of these coins, that's all you're going to get. However, if you find one in uncirculated condition, shiny, no scratches, full mint luster, then it might be worth more. Uncirculated examples can sell for anywhere from $2 to $5, depending on the quality. Now, here's where things get more interesting. If your coin has been professionally graded by companies like PCGS or NGC, and it scores a high mint state grade, we're talking MS67 or higher, then the value goes up significantly. A 1994 D quarter in MS67 condition has sold at auction for over $100. In MS68, which is extremely rare, the value can reach several $100s and sometimes over $1,000. The highest recorded sale of a 1994 D quarter came from one of these ultra-high-grade coins. We're talking pristine condition, no marks, no wear, perfect strike, and top-tier preservation. That's the kind of coin that excites serious collectors who are looking to complete registry sets. But let's clear something up right now. There is no verified record, anywhere in the numismatic world, of a 1994 D Washington quarter selling for $1.5 million. None. Not at public auction. Not through private sale. Not through any legitimate coin grading service or numismatic expert that has. Oh, where does the $1.5 million claim come from? Most likely, it's the result of internet hype. Over the last few years, dozens of videos and articles have popped up claiming that certain coins, including the 1994 D quarter, are worth staggering amounts of money. Sometimes these claims are based on rare error coins, which we'll talk about in a moment, and other times, they're completely made up. It's a mix of clickbait and misunderstanding. To be fair, rare error coins can sometimes command high prices. An error coin is one that was misstruck at the mint. Maybe it was double struck, struck off center, or minted on the wrong metal planchet. These kinds of mistakes are rare, and collectors do pay big money for them. But if a 1994 D quarter had an extreme and verified mint error, say, struck on a nickel planchet, missing its clad layer, or displaying a dramatic double die, it could sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. But even in those rare cases, prices in the millions are unheard of. As of today, no 1994 D quarter has ever reached a value of $1.5 million. The top-known sales are in the low four figures, and those are for perfect or nearly perfect coins. So what should you do if you find a 1994 D quarter? First, check the condition. If it's been used and shows wear, it's probably worth 25 cents. If it looks brand new, never circulated, and has that original shine, you might be looking at a few dollars in value. Possibly more if it's been well preserved, if you believe your coin might be special. For example, if it looks like it has a mint error or if it's in flawless condition, then consider sending it to a professional grading service. PCGS and NGC can evaluate your coin, assign it a grade, and confirm whether it's something worth more than face value. Just don't fall for the internet myths. Most of these million-dollar coin stories are based on hype, not fact. They can make for exciting headlines, but they rarely hold up under expert review. That said, there's still plenty of joy in coin collecting. The 1994 D quarter is a fun piece of history. It marks one of the final years before a major shift in American coinage design. And while it probably won't make you a millionaire, it could still be worth something, especially if it's in top condition or has a rare error. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the coins you see every day. Drop a comment if you found a 1994 D quarter and let us know what other coins you want us to cover next. Until next time, keep your eyes open, check your change, and remember, every coin has a story. Some just shine a little brighter than others. If you'd like this broken into segments for visuals or pacing, or need a version tailored to a short video format, let me know and I'll help you repurpose it. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden history and surprising value of everyday coins. Today we're diving into a coin that sparked a lot of curiosity and buzz online. The 1998 D Washington quarter. Some sources claim that this quarter could be worth as much as $1.2 million. Yes, $1.2 million for a single 25-cent piece. That kind of number gets attention fast. But is it true? Can a 1998 D quarter really be worth that kind of money? Or is this just another case of internet hype? Let's break it all down. The facts, the history, the value, and what you should really be looking for when you come across a 1998 D quarter in your pocket. Let's start with the basics. The 1998 D Washington quarter was minted in Denver, as shown by the small letter D on the front of the coin to the right of George Washington's ponytail. In that year, the Denver Mint produced over 821 million of these coins. That's right, more than 800 million. So the first thing you need to know is that the 1998 D quarter is not rare in terms of mintage numbers. It was mass-produced and is still commonly found in circulation today. Now let's look at the design. The obverse features the familiar bust of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan. This design was introduced in 1932 and had remained largely unchanged for decades. The reverse of the coin, like others from 1932 to 1998, shows a bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches beneath. A strong and proud American symbol. The coin is made of copper-nickel clad, not silver, and weighs about 5.67 grams. But what makes the 1998 D quarter different is the timing. This coin represents the last year of the traditional Washington quarter design before the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. That program changed everything and introduced a new design for each state, bringing in millions of new collectors. So while the 1998 D quarter may not be rare in quantity, it does hold historical importance as the end of an era. Now let's talk about value. And let's get real. The in average circulated condition, which means the coin has been used and shows typical wear. The 1998 D quarter is worth exactly what it says on the front, 25 cents. It's very common, and you'll find them in change jars, coin rolls, and even at gas stations. But in uncirculated condition, the value starts to increase slightly. If you find a 1998 D quarter that has never been used and still has its original mint luster, no scratches, no wear, full detail, it could be worth anywhere from $1 to $5, depending on the grade and condition. Now, here's where things get more interesting. When coins are submitted to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, they are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1998 D quarter that receives a grade of MS66, MS67, or higher becomes much more desirable to collectors. An MS67 example could be worth $20 to $50. In rare cases, a coin graded MS68 might sell for over $100 or more. These are coins in absolutely pristine condition, sharp strike, no blemishes, strong eye appeal. The highest grade ever recorded for the 1998 D quarter is MS68 by PCGS. A few of these have sold for several $100s at auction. One particularly high-grade specimen sold for over $800. But again, this is not the norm. These coins are extremely rare and have to be in flawless condition. So where does the $1.2 million story come in? This is where things take a turn. The truth is, there is no confirmed or verified sale of any 1998 D Washington quarter selling for $1.2 million. Not at auction, not privately, not through any recognized numismatic database. The $1 million claim is part of a trend we've seen online where exaggerated headlines and viral videos create excitement and confusion around everyday coins. Sometimes these stories are based on a rare mint error or a misinterpretation of a high-grade coin sale. Other times, they're simply made up to get attention. That's why it's important to look at real sources, auction records, and grading reports. Now, let's talk about something that could make a 1998 D quarter valuable, and that's errors. Error coins are coins that were misstruck at the mint. These can include things like off-center strikes, double dies, coins struck on the wrong metal planchet, clipped planchets, or coins missing part of the design. Some of these errors are incredibly rare and can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If a 1998 D quarter was struck on a planchet mint for a different coin, like a dime or foreign currency, it could be extremely valuable. If a dramatic double die were discovered, with clear doubling on the date or lettering, it could fetch serious money. But to date, no such million-dollar error has been found on a 1998 D quarter. So what should you do if you have a 1998 D quarter? First, check the condition. If it looks uncirculated, it could be worth a few bucks. Next, look for unusual features, any doubling, off-center design, or missing elements. If something seems strange or unique, it may be an error coin worth investigating further. You can take it to a local coin shop or send it to a grading service for professional evaluation. And remember this, coin collecting isn't just about chasing huge paydays. It's about history, discovery, and appreciation. The 1998 D Washington quarter may not be worth $1 million, but it marks the end of a historic chapter in American coinage. That alone makes it special to collectors. So, let's recap. The 1998 D Washington quarter was minted in large numbers and is not rare in circulation. In average condition, it's worth 25 cents. In uncirculated condition, it may be worth a few dollars. In top-grade certified condition, it could be worth a few hundred. But the $1.2 million story? That's a myth. There's no evidence to support that kind of sale. That said, always check your change, because rare coins do pop up from time to time, and knowing what to look for is half the battle. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more real coin facts, history, and collecting tips. Drop a comment if you've ever come across a 1998 D quarter or if you have a coin you want us to cover next. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep learning, and remember, every coin has a story. Some are just waiting to be discovered. Would you like help turning this into a voiceover video with timing, transitions, or visuals? I can help with that too.